probably give this introduction pretty easily without even knowing Lori. At least in the dry and arid circles of lawyers in which I circulate, Lori is what you might call a big deal. Her resume is nothing short of extraordinary. Some of it is in your evaluator today. There's a lot more where that came from. She came from a hardworking family where both of her parents had to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet. And she put herself through the University of Michigan by working and borrowing money on her own. She spent 2 years as a legislative aide in Washington, D.C. before coming to Chicago on a full scholarship from the University of Chicago Law School. Since graduation, her list of legal positions and accomplishments is more than impressive. She has been, in no particular order, clerk for a justice on the Michigan Supreme Court, an equity partner at Mayor Brown, one of the most prestigious law firms in the city, an assistant United States attorney in the criminal division, interim first deputy of the Chicago Department of Procurement Services, chief of staff and general counsel of the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications, president of the Chicago Police Board, and chair of the Police Accountability Task Force. There's probably more, but that's what I could find online. She has received many more awards than I would want to count. American Constitution Society, on whose board I sit, has called her a legal legend. They don't call me that, they have called her that. And now, of course, she's running to become, potentially, the first African-American woman mayor of the great city of Chicago, and the first openly LGBTQ mayor of the city of Chicago. Now, that's the part I could have given if I didn't know Lori. Now, for the rest of the story. So, I've known Lori for quite a while. In fact, she and I both moved to Chicago the same year, I think, in 1986, for the same purpose, to join the first-year class at the University of Chicago Law School. There's something you need to know about the University of Chicago, and its law school in particular. In her book, The Senator Next Door, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar talks about her years at the University of Chicago Law School, and points out that her class was known as the happy class. The senator and her classmates, which included Jim Comey, were well known for liking to dance and costume parties. Senator Klobuchar's happy class graduated in 1985. We started in 1986. At that point, the law school was back to its more typical, I would say, mode, which is, you've probably heard, widely understood to be where fun goes to die. But even though we weren't the happy class, and our class was, let's just say, intense. We did have a core group of people who, besides being really scary smart and driven to succeed in every way, they were just good people. And Lori is one of the good people. Lori's always been committed to justice and fairness since her days at law school. Since then, she served on really, literally, virtually every significant progressive legal and policy organization in Chicago. The Better Government Association, the ACLU Illinois, Center for Conflict Resolution, the Center for Wrongful Conviction, the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under Law Chicago, and it goes on. But really, Lori, in my mind, exemplifies the integrity and the civility that some of us in the legal profession actually think should be its most important characteristic. Lori has accomplished an amazing amount in her career and for the city of Chicago, and has done it by working with people and not against people. Now, I don't live in the city, so I don't get to vote in the coming election, and Rotary is not political organization, as we all know. So I'm not here to tell you who you should vote for. But I am honored to share with you my friend Lori Lightfoot.
Thank you so much, Mike. And of course, if I had a brain in my head, when you have such an amazing introduction like that, you sit down and just say thank you. But I will engage you in some conversation, and I hope that we have an opportunity for Q&A. And I also want to say that I was very moved by Marshall's comments and his plea to people that are in this race, who are hopefully articulating a vision for Chicago, not just a critique, because the critique is frankly easy. We have a great city, but we have a lot of challenges. And the next mayor, and I do believe there's going to be a runoff, will start office in May with a laundry list of things that need to be immediately addressed, because Ron Manuel's going to leave office with a lot of unfinished business. But I'm going to give a little bit of my prepared remarks, but I'm going to pick up on your theme because I think it's important, particularly in an organization like the Rotary. I've been a fan and admirer of the work that you all do, not only here but across the world, and I'm honored that I'm speaking for the ground zero, right, for the Rotary movement. So it's my great pleasure to be with you this afternoon. Let me tell you a little bit more about my background and why that informs my decision to seek the mayor's office, but also to really, I think, articulate a vision for our city that is different than others. Some of you know, as Mike said, I came here 32 years ago. I grew up in a small town about 60 miles south of Cleveland. I'm the fourth of my parents' 4 children. Both of my parents grew up, they were born in the 1920s and grew up in the segregated South and really suffered under the yoke of Jim Crow, which really very much informed their worldview. As Mike said, my parents were humble people who worked hard every day. We would have been glad to be called the working class because it was a struggle. My father worked 2 and 3 jobs. My mother also had to work. She worked a series of low-wage jobs in nursing homes and mental institutions, and at the end of her working life was a home health care, taking care of the sick and shut-in, and a lot of people who were at the end of their life and needed comfort and care. My father was also a deaf man, and watching him struggle, what that meant, his disability meant for, frankly, the limitations on his earning potential, very much impacted me. And what that all means and how it informs the person I am is this. I know firsthand what it means to struggle. Living paycheck to paycheck, I'm worried about whether or not you're going to be able to stay in your home. As Mike said, there was no money for me to go to college, so I worked every part-time job that you can think of, most notably, which is probably why I bleed blue, I was a cook for the Michigan football training team. And yes, I've never seen any human being eat as much food as those young men. But that struggle shaped me in, I think, good ways. It was difficult at the time, but it really gave me a sense of perspective. And I was fortunate enough to get a full scholarship to come here because the University of Chicago was not in my trajectory. And being here and being at that school at that time with my classmates completely transformed my life. I have been very fortunate in the opportunities that have fallen me and that I have been able to take advantage of. And so when I was doing the work leading the Police Accountability Task Force in the wake of the release of the videotape showing the murder of LaQuan McDonald, we had a lot of headwinds that we were fighting against. But it was also at a time when, as you will recall, in 15 and 16, the violence in our city was really escalating out of control. We reached homicide numbers that year in 16 that we truly hadn't seen since the height of the crack epidemic. And doing the work that I was doing in that time really led me to make further inquiry about what was happening in our city at that moment that was leading to this outside violence. And what I learned is this, that there are neighborhoods across our city who have been left out of the great prosperity that the city has experienced. The downtown is flourishing. Those of you who live in the city long enough to know, the South Loop has really taken on and been transformed. Similar thing is happening with the West Loop, and there are neighborhoods across the north side that are doing quite well. But if you just go a few miles south or a few miles west, it is like we live in a different country, not just a different city. When I was a young girl in the summer of 1969, I went to Arkansas to see my father's people, as we call them. And my father grew up very, very poor. And the remaining family members that were living in Arkansas literally were at little shacks off the side of the road. If they had electricity, it was a single bulb hanging from the ceiling. Nobody had indoor plumbing. I'd never seen anything like that. Don't get me wrong, we didn't have a lot. But that level of rural poverty was something that really, really hit me then. And frankly, as I'm telling you the story, I can remember visually what that was like. Well, those conditions exist right now, today, in our city. In neighborhoods like Inglewood. I've seen it up close and personal. On the west side of Austin, in North Lawndale, and West Garfield Park, and Roseville, which has been abandoned for way too long. Why does any of this matter if you're living in a part of the city that's thriving, if you have a comfortable life? Well, I think there's a moral imperative to make sure that we are doing everything we can to truly be our brother's keeper. And folks, poverty is not cheap. A big reason why we are seeing these spikes in violence is because we have neglected neighborhoods, where we have 25% unemployment routinely, where kids grow up not knowing anybody who goes to work every day, where there are no real opportunities for folks to connect up with the legitimate economy, and the things that we all take for granted that stabilize neighborhoods really are what we look to as showing that we've got a good quality of life. They don't exist in vast swaths of neighborhoods across our city. And sadly, where the illegal drug trade is the largest employer in neighborhood after neighborhood, we will not find peace and victory in these neighborhoods that are bereft of hope and opportunity. So as I said, poverty is not cheap, so we are paying every single day for the cost of our neglect. And it's one of the few metropolitan areas in the country that continues to lose population. If we don't do something to stop this process from happening, the effect on the rest of us, the haves, is going to be profound. Because the people who stay, their needs are going to be even greater. But for the rest of us who stay, who have needs, that means higher taxes. That means, frankly, continue to live in conditions where we fear home invasions, carjackings, and robberies. So public safety in particular is the overlay, and it has to be something that we deal with, and I've got very specific plans for that. But fundamentally where we need to start, and I'm mindful of the fact that we just saw in the newspapers today yet another series of revelations about aldermen and aldermanic privilege gone amok. If we don't demonstrate to people that we have a heart and the integrity to run a government that is compassionate, that is taking on the tough challenges and not continuing to kick tough issues down the road, we will not continue to be the great city that we are. That is the stark truth. And one of the things that I challenge people with when I talk and have a luxury of being in front of audiences is this. When I came to the city in 1986, it was when Harold Washington was running for re-election. And as Marcia said, that was, in my view, a magnificent time in our city. It was an opportunity for us to break from the machine past. And people were engaged and excited. I remember on election day, leaving for school in the morning and coming home in the afternoon and having lots of stickers and contacts with people saying, don't forget to vote. Because there was this energy around the possibility for change. And unfortunately, with Harold Washington's death and the ensuing chaos, a lot of those dreams died. And we haven't had that spark of hope and optimism really since then. And that is a sad thing. But we are in the this moment now where we can rekindle those embers of hope for progress and change and difference. But what it's going to depend upon is this. People of goodwill all across the city, not just being mad and angry and frustrated and wanting change, but being resolved to use your vote, to use your resources, whatever platform and network you have, to advocate for that change. This is the first competitive election that we've had in the city since 1986. And depending, frankly, on the results, it may be the last competitive election that we have for a long time. I hope I'm wrong about that, but a lot of it depends on the decisions that we make. And let me also just say this. We just went into the field last week and took another poll. And one of the big takeaways for me is my pollster said, I've never seen anything like this. Now, Tony Preckwinkle still leads, but her lead is shrinking and she's dropping. Susanna Mendoza's up there. Bill Daley and Gary Chico, I call them the four horsemen. But everyone else is within striking distance, including me. This election is super fluid. There's a lot of people who are still undecided, who are still trying to tune in. And again, the difference is going to be, are we resigned or are we resolved? I hope you'll join me in being resolved. Resolved that we can make a difference. Resolved that we can break away, frankly, from the crumbling machine past. One of the worst things that's been revealed with the charges against Ed Burke, and now with all this drip of daily information about Danny Solis is this. People all over the city who just want to get basic government services and have a right to them as taxpayers, have a right to them as residents. We have an economy and government that means you have to give to get. You gotta have a guy, you gotta know somebody, you gotta go kiss the ring, just to get basic city services. We should all be appalled by that, because that's not who we should be as a city, not in 2019, for goodness sake. This is 1950. We should expect more and demand more of our elected and appointed officials. I just frankly came from a press conference right before here, calling upon the mayor to issue an executive order to end automatic prerogative. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it means you gotta go kiss the ring of the alderman if you wanna sign on your business, if you want a piece of, if you are trying to get licensing to do basically anything. And if you're a small business person without a lot of means, without clout, somebody who can hire an expensive lawyer, that means you may not be able to function in the city. And that is just fundamentally wrong. That's what's at stake in this election. Now, as I say all the time, if you're comfortable and you like the status quo, you got an a la carte menu of choices. But if you want a difference, if you want somebody, in the words of Shirley Chisholm, who is unbossed and unbought, then I believe I'm your candidate. I have stood for good government my entire career. I have taken on hard challenges that people said, well, you really can't make a difference. And why do you want to even touch that issue? Because it's the right thing to do, not just the politically expedient thing to do. As I said, this election is very fluid. Please do educate yourself about where the candidates stand on the issues that are important to the future of our city. Please do make sure that you register and that you vote, and frankly, that you bring 4 or 5 of your friends along with you. I'd love to see us have one of the highest turnouts that we had, harkening back to the Harold Washington days. We do have an opportunity in this race to speak our values, but it comes down to, are we resigned or are we resolved? Thank you, and I'm happy to take your questions.